There have been multiple cast members of the 90-Day Fiancé who have unfortunately passed away. Starting with Chuck Potthast, the father of 90-Day Fiancé star Elizabeth Castrovet, passed away on November 2025 at the age of 64. Elizabeth shared the heartbreaking news with fans in an emotional Instagram post, writing that her sweet, loving, and caring dad went to heaven. She added that the family was completely shattered by the loss. The announcement marked the end of a long and very public journey that viewers of the franchise had followed for nearly a decade. Chuck became a familiar face on 90-Day Fiancé as part of Elizabeth's relationship and eventual marriage to Andrei Castrovet. From the beginning, he played a major role in their storyline. Chuck was often shown as the primary financial support for the young couple as Andrei struggled to find stable work in the United States. Their relationship was frequently tense, with Chuck expressing deep concerns about Andrei's motives, work ethic, and intentions toward Elizabeth. Despite the conflicts and heated arguments shown on television, Andrei has since said their television drama was faked and they got along well. Beyond the family drama portrayed on screen, Chuck faced serious health battles behind the scenes. In 2016, he was diagnosed with bladder cancer. Doctors were unable to save his bladder, and he underwent life-altering surgery that required him to live with a permanent urostomy bag. Although the surgery was successful in treating the cancer, it left him with long-term health complications that would continue to affect his quality of life for years to come. In a 2022 episode of 90-Day Diaries, Chuck opened up candidly about his cancer journey and the physical and emotional toll it had taken on him. Viewers saw him focus on improving his health, losing weight, and rebuilding his strength after years of recovery. In one memorable moment, he went shopping with his daughter, Jen, after his weight loss, expressing gratitude for being alive and able to enjoy time with his family. In September 2025, just 2 months before his passing, Chuck shared a health update from a hospital bed. What was supposed to be a routine 3 to 4 hour surgery to repair hernias from previous cancer operations became far more serious when doctors discovered that his stomach wall had completely collapsed internally. The procedure took significantly longer than expected as surgeons worked to stabilize the damage. Despite the severity of the situation, Chuck maintained his trademark sense of humor afterward, joking that at least he now had a flat stomach, and thanking supporters for their prayers and encouragement. Although Chuck initially appeared to be recovering from the surgery, his health continued to decline in the weeks that followed. The family has not publicly disclosed the exact cause of death. His passing marked the loss of a central figure, not only in Elizabeth's life, but also in one of the most well-known family storylines in 90-Day Fiancé history. He is remembered by fans as a devoted father and grandfather whose love for his family remained constant, even through illness, televised conflict, and years of personal struggle. The next star passed away from complications with COVID-19. Jason Hitch appeared on Season 2 of 90-Day Fiancé in 2014 alongside his Brazilian wife, Cassia Tavares. A Florida native and U.S. Army veteran, Jason met Cassia on Facebook when he was 38 years old. At the time, Cassia was just 23 and living in Brazil. After building a long-distance relationship online, the two decided to pursue a K-1 visa, so Cassia could move to the United States and marry Jason. From the beginning, their relationship was marked by tension and imbalance. Jason lived a highly frugal lifestyle, closely monitoring spending and limiting Cassia's financial independence. Cassia, meanwhile, had expected a more comfortable life in America and struggled to adapt to Jason's strict budgeting and controlling tendencies. Their 15-year age gap, cultural differences, and opposing expectations quickly became sources of constant conflict. Throughout their season, Jason frequently questioned Cassia's motives, repeatedly expressing concerns that she may have been using him for a green card rather than entering the relationship out of genuine affection. Despite the growing strain, the couple went forward with the wedding during the season. However, their marriage did little to stabilize the relationship. After filming ended, their issues continued, including disagreements over trust, autonomy, and communication. Cassia later faced legal troubles related to a domestic incident involving Jason, which further deepened the fracture between them. Although the charges were ultimately dismissed, the event highlighted the volatility of their relationship behind the scenes. By 2018, Jason and Cassia officially divorced, bringing an end to their brief and turbulent marriage. Cassia later remarried and moved on with her life, largely distancing herself from her time on 90 Day Fiancé. In December 2021, Jason Hitch passed away at the age of 45 due to complications related to COVID-19. His death was confirmed by Cassia, who shared that despite the painful history and public conflicts between them, she was deeply saddened by the news. Jason was remembered by those who knew him as a U.S. Army veteran, a father and a reality television personality whose personal struggles had played out under intense public scrutiny. His passing marked the end of one of the franchise's most polarizing and emotionally charged early storylines. The next star of the show, however, would not be able to fight his stage 4 cancer. In December 2024, Ben was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic adenocarcinoma, a highly aggressive form of stomach cancer that had already spread beyond the primary site by the time it was discovered. The diagnosis came as a shock to viewers, as Ben had remained active on social media and had not publicly indicated any major health struggles prior to the announcement. Despite beginning treatment, his condition deteriorated rapidly. Ben Rathbun appeared on Season 5 of 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 days alongside Mahogany Roca. Their storyline was one of the most controversial of the season due to their significant age difference, the vague nature of their communication, and widespread doubt over whether Mahogany was even a real person. For much of the season, Ben traveled to Peru without confirmation that Mahogany would meet him, raising concern among viewers and even his own friends and family. When Mahogany finally appeared, the relationship remained unstable, marked by secrecy, distrust, and repeated clashes over honesty and intentions. Despite the skepticism surrounding their connection, Ben maintained that the relationship was genuine and continued pursuing a future with her. Following the season, Ben largely disappeared from the public eye, while speculation about the true nature of his relationship with Mahogany continued. In February 2024, the two surprised fans by announcing they had secretly married, confirming that their relationship had continued long after filming ended. In early 2025, Ben Rathbun passed away at the age of 55 in Greencastle, Indiana. He died surrounded by family members, including his wife, Mahogany. News of his death prompted an emotional response from fans of the franchise, many of whom had followed his controversial journey from the beginning. Ben's death marked one of the most tragic real-world outcomes associated with the 90-day Fiancé franchise. What began as a heavily debated and often criticized reality TV storyline ultimately ended in a sudden and devastating loss. Next, David Murphey became one of the most recognizable and emotionally talked about figures in 90-day Fiancé history. After appearing on season 4 of Before the 90 Days in 2020. His storyline centered on a 7-year online relationship with a Ukrainian woman named Lana, whom he had never met in person, despite sending large sums of money and traveling internationally multiple times. David made 4 separate trips to Ukraine, only to be stood up each time, often waiting at cafes and train stations while Lana failed to appear. Viewers were deeply divided over whether Lana was real or part of a long-term online scam. On his 5th trip, cameras finally captured the long-anticipated meeting when Lana unexpectedly showed up in person. The two developed a brief in-person relationship and eventually became engaged. However, cracks in their connection quickly became clear. Cultural differences, communication issues, and lingering trust concerns ultimately led to their breakup after the season concluded. Although their engagement ended, David later stated that he did not regret trying to find closure after so many years of uncertainty. Outside of reality television, David lived a relatively private and structured life. He was a US military veteran and worked for decades as a software engineer. He also owned small businesses and spent part of his career employed by the Clark County Treasurer's Office in Nevada. In addition, he worked for both H&R Block and the gaming technology company IGT Friends and Family described him as disciplined, intelligent, and deeply loyal to those he cared about. David was also widely known for his love of animals, particularly cats. He frequently adopted rescue cats and shared photos of them with his followers on social media. His cat, Gamera, became especially well known among fans as a constant companion in his everyday life. David Murphey passed away on December 11, 2024, at the age of 66, after dealing with ongoing health issues for several years. His family announced his death publicly in a heartfelt social media post. They described him as a devoted brother, a proud veteran, a man of quiet kindness, and someone who deeply valued loyalty and compassion. He was survived by his 2 sisters and his beloved rescue cat, Gamera. In their tribute, David's family asked fans to honor his memory by donating to the Animal Foundation in Las Vegas, an organization that reflected his lifelong commitment to rescuing and caring for animals. His passing marked the loss of one of the franchise's most emotionally impactful figures, whose long-distance love story had shaped an entire season and left a lasting impression on the 90-day Fiancé audience. Another unfortunate passing of a parent, Angela Deem's mother Glenda, passed away in January 2020, just days after Angela traveled to Nigeria to marry Michael Alazanmi. In the days leading up to the wedding, Glenda had been found unresponsive in the United States and was hospitalized in critical condition. The sudden medical emergency created an agonizing situation for Angela, who was thousands of miles away, preparing for one of the biggest moments of her life while fearing she might lose her mother. On 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Viewers watched as Angela struggled visibly with the decision to stay in Nigeria for the wedding or immediately return home. In emotional confessionals, she said she felt trapped between two life-altering events, marrying Michael and potentially saying goodbye to her mother forever. Angela expressed that the uncertainty of Glenda's condition was unbearable, and she feared she would be too late if she waited. Glenda passed away shortly after Angela returned to the United States. Her death had a profound and lasting impact on Angela. On the show, Glenda had been portrayed as a steady, protective presence in Angela's life. She had appeared in multiple episodes, often serving as Angela's emotional support and advocate during conflicts with Michael and other family members. Fans had come to recognize her as a grounding force in Angela's otherwise chaotic storyline. The loss of her mother marked a major emotional turning point for Angela. In later seasons, she frequently referenced Glenda while reflecting on issues of family, aging, health, and mortality. The grief also intensified the strain in her marriage, as Angela navigated life without the person she most relied on for guidance and reassurance. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss new videos, and click the videos on your screen now to watch more.